Hello students, welcome to my channel. This is Satyendra Kumar Mahajan. In last video we were discussing the introduction to sexual reproduction, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, which was without parents, without any male or female partner, a new offspring was formed. In case of sexual reproduction, there is need for two parents. One should be male and the other is female. From these two, gametes are formed, which are called male gametes and are female gametes. Now we will discuss sexual reproduction in this animation. Right here,
reproduction, an important biological process occurring in living organisms, ensures continuity of life. Organisms reproduce either asexually or sexually. In the case of sexual reproduction, we see the fusion of male and female gametes, which are either produced by the same individual or by different individuals of the opposite sex. Though organisms which engage in sexual reproduction vary in their external and internal structure, the pattern of sexual reproduction remains quite similar. All organisms, for instance, go through three phases of life: the juvenile phase, reproductive phase, and senescence phase.
that is the aging.
The juvenile phase is a period of growth which is characterized by an increase in height in all animals, including human beings. Whereas in plants, we see the emergence of new leaves during the juvenile phase. Did you know that in plants, the juvenile phase is known as the vegetative phase? Interestingly, the duration of the juvenile or vegetative phase varies in different organisms. In human beings, for instance, the juvenile phase lasts for 13 to 16 years in the case of females and 13 to 15 years in males. Whereas a mango tree remains in the vegetative phase for around 3 to 5 years. The juvenile phase is succeeded by the reproductive phase in both plants and animals. In the case of plants, this phase is marked by the appearance of flowers.
Flowering. This is kind of flowering. The flowering is the major part of the plant reproduction system. So we actually exist because of the reproduction system, and the plants, they are continuing their life with the help of asexual and sexual reproduction both. Flowers indicate the advancement in the plant. As we have taught earlier, that the smallest plants, you can say the easiest plants, or you can say the pioneer the plants. Pioneer the plants are thallophytes, which are called algae, blue algae, green algae, blue-green algae. Then bryophytes, then pteridophytes, and then gymnosperms, and then angiosperms. Angiosperms are the advanced plant in this very earth.
Or vegetative propagules such as runners. However, while some plants such as the rose flower throughout their lifespan, others such as the mango flower seasonally. Interestingly, in the case of mango, which also happens to be a perennial plant, it is very difficult to define the various phases of life.
अब देखिए, यहाँ पे देखेंगे हम लोग पेरेनियल, एनुअल, बाइनियल. एनुअल का मतलब होता है साल भर में एक बार। पेरेनियल मतलब होता है पूरे साल, राइट। और जो सीजनल होता है साल में एक बार कभी जाके उसके अंदर रिप्रोडक्शन होगा, यानी कि एक बार कहीं फ्लावर होगा। तो फ्लावर अगर आपको किसी प्लांट में दिख रहा है, इसका मतलब यही उसका रिप्रोडक्शन का फेज है। दैट मीन्स pollen grains are now getting transferred from one plant to other plant stigma, means flower of the stigma. Any stigma which is present inside the plant, which is present in any plant, has the tendency to attract those pollens which are from other plants, and we will discuss it in the chapter next, which is based on basically the pollination.
That's because perennials, which have a long reproductive phase, keep shedding their leaves throughout the year or once a year in winter. The shedding of leaves can be misinterpreted as a sign of the senescent phase. However, it is easy to identify the phases in the case of annuals and biennials. As all three phases of an annual plant occur in 1 year, whereas biennials have a 2-year life cycle in which the plants enter the vegetative phase in the first year and the reproductive followed by the senescent phase in the second year. Did you know that certain plants such as bamboo flower only once in 100 years, produce fruits and then die? Similarly, Strobilanthes kuntiana or Neelakuranji flowers every 12 years. Just as plants develop specialized structures during the reproductive phase, animals too show certain morphological and physiological changes. In human beings, for example, the reproductive phase, which starts with puberty, leads to the development of male and female secondary sexual characters such as facial hair in male and breasts, which are seen more prominently in females. Moreover, females of all placental mammals, including primates and non-primates, demonstrate cyclical changes in the activities of their ovaries and accessory ducts, as well as hormones during the reproductive phase. Known as the menstrual cycle in primates and the estrous cycle in non-primates.
Menstrual cycle in primates and estrous cycle in non-primates. Primates का मतलब होता है जो apes होते हैं, यानी कि जो man-like animals, man-like जैसे कि monkey, gorilla, ओरेंगुटैन, चिंपैंजी एंड ह्यूमंस। और जो नॉन प्राइमेट्स यानी कि बाकी जो मैमल्स हैं बट वो मैन लाइक अपीयरेंस नहीं है, राइट। यहाँ पे डिस्कस करेंगे। तो जो हम बात कर रहे हैं मेंस्ट्रुअल फेज, ये कहाँ होगा? प्राइमेट्स में। और एस्ट्रस फेज कहाँ होता है? जो नॉन प्राइमेट्स हैं, अदर देन ह्यूमंस, गोरिल्ला, मंकी, चिंपैंजी, ओरेंगुटैन, लाइक। तो इन सबसे अलग हो जाते हैं, तो क्या बोलते हैं उनको? नॉन प्राइमेट्स। वहाँ चलता है एस्ट्रस साइकिल, इज इट?
These cycles stop once the female becomes pregnant and resume after the female has given birth to offspring. Moreover, placental mammals, especially those living in the wild, exhibit these cyclical changes as well as breed only during favorable seasons. These mammals are therefore called seasonal breeders.
Other than
sheep,
human?
For instance, have spring as their favorable season for breeding. Breeding during spring allows for the birth of lambs at an optimal time. That is, when the weather is warm and there is plenty of grass and water available in nature. In human beings, on the other hand, the females experience the menstrual cycle and are active throughout their reproductive phase. They are therefore called continuous breeders.
Human continuous होते हैं, सब बाकी primates भी होते हैं ऐसे।
The end of the reproductive phase in living organisms coincides with the beginning of the senescent phase. during which we see changes such as senility, non-existence of the menstrual or estrus cycle, and slowing of metabolism. Senescence ultimately leads to death. Interestingly, the transition between the three stages is controlled by hormones as well as environmental factors.
Okay.
For instance, the release of the hormone estrogen triggers the menstrual cycle in girls. Moreover, girls living in tropical regions experience menstruation at an earlier age than those living in temperate regions.
Very interesting factors
In
are
most
here.
organisms, the reproductive phase plays a crucial
रिप्रोडक्टिव फेजेस को हमें पढ़ना है अलग अलग ऑर्गेनिजम्स में, जिसमें हम सबसे पहले डिस्कस करेंगे प्लांट्स के लिए। तो सबसे पहले हम बात करेंगे प्लांट्स के लिए, जो कि हमारा नेक्स्ट टॉपिक होगा प्लांट्स, रिप्रोडक्शन इन प्लांट्स। उसके बाद हम बात करेंगे रिप्रोडक्शन इन एनिमल्स, जिसमें हम बेसिकली बात करेंगे ह्यूमंस की। तो ह्यूमंस एंड प्लांट्स बेसिकली, तो ये हमारा नेक्स्ट वीडियो होगा इस पर।